I need more Assassin's Creed games like this. So recently, if you didn't know, Assassin's Creed Unity has just got a 60 FPS 4K update. And this is a game that I actually remember fondly. And no, not because of things like this, but for the way it actually did look when it actually performed well. And of course, the way it actually played. Because this game felt like the route we were going in with the Assassin's Creed games where the parkour was just like top notch. And if someone told me now that this was a PlayStation 5 game, I might actually believe you, because I'd argue that this game actually looks better than some of the recent Assassin's Creed games. And this game is 12 years old this year. This game came out in 2014 for Christ's sake, and it still looks this great. Please, Ubisoft, just give me more like this. Not to say that the recent Assassin's Creed games don't look good, because they do look pretty good. I actually quite like the look of Shadows, and Valhalla did look pretty great as well, but you know, this was friggin' 12 years ago. And I still think this looks better. Maybe because it's a smaller world. I don't know. So anyway, like I said, this game has just got a 60 FPS update for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And I've been wanting to jump into this game for a while, and obviously now I thought, now's the time. And I'll admit, this does play pretty well. Apart from where at the start of this game, Arno just decided to just stand there and not move a single muscle. For the most part, anyway. No, but really, I really do love how this game plays. For starters, I think the combat on this game is a pretty good mix between like the older Assassin's Creed games from like 2 to Black Flag and the recent Assassin's Creed games with the RPG elements. It's not quite that Arkham-based combat where you can literally just counter near enough everything that's thrown at you. And it's not to the point where it's the RPG element where it's like playing more like an RPG game the way you fight, because you can do counters here and there, and you can like do a bit of more of like the RPG sort of sword style, where it's not quite to where it is today. Another thing I do like on this game as well, where it's more simplified than the RPG sort of aspect, is the customization, in where I would like something like this to actually come back to the newer Assassin's Creed games, rather than, you know, getting gear near enough every chest you go in. The way you can get different armors and different weapons on this is quite simple. You literally just go onto your start menu and then you go and buy pieces of gear. And the customization you can do on this game is actually pretty good. You can change your HUD style, you can change your armor style, the way it looks, and you get color sets of armor as well. There's quite a lot of them actually, and you can just basically customize Arno to how you want him to look. Yes, you can do this on the newer games. You know, you can get like a piece of gear and then say, I actually want it to look like that piece of gear, transmogging sort of wise. I do like that bit, but I like the simplicity of this. I would rather actually go to a vendor, you know, like you could do on the older games. For example, like on Assassin's Creed 2, you go to a vendor and actually buy your pieces of gear from him rather than just pressing the start menu. Feels a bit more like you're in that world, you know, go and buy a piece of armor rather than pressing the start menu. But I do like the armor system on this better than the RPG ones, where you just get too much gear too fast and it just becomes irrelevant after 2 minutes of using it. But easily by far what I actually really love about this game, and I know a lot of other fans do as well, is the parkour system and how you can traverse buildings and descale buildings and different areas. It's so much more fluid than the recent games. The recent games really didn't go down that path. For some reason, I have no idea why. Like, I remember when I was playing this game originally, I was going, wow, this is going to be like the new path forward, what Assassin's Creed is going to go into, like all this parkour system. This is great. Imagine they can just build on this a little bit more, make it a tiny bit more smooth, because when this game did come out, it was a bit clunky here and there. It is still a bit now and then, but you know, it's quite fluid. And yeah, for some reason, they just, no. It's just gone. Even with like Assassin's Creed Mirage, it's just not really there. They've tried to do it in Assassin's Creed Mirage. They've even done an update in the newer DLCs to make it more like parkour-esque, but it's really not up to the scale of like this game. 2014, by the way. Yeah, yes, I'll say it again. This game came out in 2014, and 12 years later, you still can't replicate what you did back then. Feels like a very much Skull and Bones scenario where they had Black Flag and they built a pirate game, and then they actually went to go and build a pirate game, and then it didn't really happen. No idea what the hell happened there either. But aside from how it plays, like I said, visually, for a game that came out that long ago, this game sure as heck looks beautiful still. And it sure as heck feels alive, for the most part anyway. Like, you can't go around the corner on this game without having a cluster of NPCs. Like, I remember just standing over a building, and the amount of people you can just see there, crowds of them upon crowds. I remember when I originally played this game and I was like, wow, I've just replayed it now and I'm still like, wow. There's certain games you play where you go into like a massive city, for example, and there's only about 20 NPCs, and that just feels like a dead world. Like, you could say more NPCs is bad because they're literally just, a lot of them are just standing around, but a lot of them are walking around and doing different things as well. But me personally, I would rather have more so the world feels more alive rather than just going around a ghost town. And speaking of non-playable characters, you can actually do missions with NPCs. Well, they're not NPCs, it's actually multiplayer, but you know, I can't play that character, so in my opinion, you're an NPC. Yeah, I totally forgot this game had multiplayer. And it's good to see when I actually tried to find a match before, I got into one straight away. It must be because of the new update that's come out that people have like resurged to play this game, because I literally found one within about a few minutes. So essentially the multiplayer on this game is co-op missions, rather than like the older games where you went against each other. You go into a co-op mission and you basically go and do assassination missions together. It's kind of like a little side quest. You get a little bit of story to begin with, and then you get a mission to go and do. And then when you fulfill that mission, you get some items or gear or whatever it is, or money. From what I can remember anyway, because when I tried to do this before, I couldn't get past the mission because I don't think I was geared up enough. I was getting literally one-shotted by NPCs, and so was the other guy who was with me, so... But I do remember this multiplayer being pretty good, and it was much better for me than the original multiplayer that we had on like Brotherhood, for example. But I just wanted to test this multiplayer out now and see how it actually played. And if multiplayer actually came back to the Assassin's Creed games, then I would want it something like this. Maybe build upon it a little bit more. I don't know, have like Assassin's guilds or clans or whatever. Probably wouldn't last long, but you know, but it would be a thing maybe to try. I think they might have actually had that back in the day. I can't remember. They might have actually had that on this game. Let me know in the comments. I can't remember that one. So I've only just been replaying this game for a few hours. Back in the day, I did actually get all the achievements on this game and did all the DLCs. So I have played a lot of hours on this game originally. But the more I was playing this, the more I was just thinking to myself, I really miss the Assassin's Creed games like this, where the game kind of feels like it's building up to something with its story and its progression and how you play, like how you feel you climb the ranks of an assassin. You start off as like a rookie assassin, and then by the end of the games, you are a master assassin. Like, it near enough happened on all the older Assassin's Creed games. Was it a bit repetitive? You could say so, but it's like seeing another Master Assassin story. Assassin. Yeah, because that's not really a thing anymore. Like, the newer games do kind of make you build up, like I said, you get like different pieces of gear, and when you get all your like orange legendary gear, for example, on the newer games, you do feel like a badass. Do you feel like a Master Assassin? Not really, you just feel like a tank going around with a sword or a hammer, to be honest. I mean, maybe with like Naoe and the newer Assassin's Creed, you can maybe feel like that, maybe, but it doesn't hit the same for me. Because you can just go around grinding some levels and going to loot more gear, and then you can literally just get there like that. Just doesn't feel like you've progressed that much. But the weird thing on this game is, considering this isn't an RPG, I feel like I wanted to explore this game more than I actually would one of the RPG games. Yeah, that's weird, because if you think about it, there's actually more to see in the RPG games, but I feel like I wanted to explore more because it was easier to do. For example, on this game, you can just probably traverse everywhere by rooftop. Here and there, you might not be able to, but like 80% of this city, you could probably go around on rooftop. With the newer games, you need to literally get a horse, travel 10 to 20 minutes to your next objective, and that is some goddamn bore. For example, on the newer games, they even have a button where you can just follow a path and you can just put down your controller and watch it go there. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I think the mount system's fine, having a horse and everything. We had them in like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and it worked in that game. You didn't feel like you were traveling for ages to get to your next objective, and it didn't drag the game out. So my final thoughts on this game and this situation with the Assassin's Creed games these days, that I would really love Ubisoft to look back at these games, considering we're getting updates from now and again. You know, we had one for Syndicate like a year or so ago as well. Look back at these games, look at the reception, what you're getting, and what people are saying, because I know a lot of people like me want the older Assassin's Creed style. You know, we've had Assassin's Creed Mirage, they tried to do it again, and again, why couldn't they do it like they did with this game and maybe Syndicate? Syndicate's not as good as this game in my opinion. It's like Assassin's Creed Mirage just went like, we'll take tiny bits from the older games, make it into a new thing, but that new thing is not as good as the old thing. I don't know, just did not hit the same for me, Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's a good game, it's a short game, but it didn't really feel like an older Assassin's Creed game in my opinion. The DLC of the Assassin's Creed Mirage did a little bit more, but at the same time, you're getting there. You're not quite there yet. I wouldn't even mind, because I feel like they were going to do that anyway with like Assassin's Creed Mirage and Shadows. If you have two separate teams, which I'm sure they actually do, make one as an Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed, assassin in the actual game, like the older games, and then make your RPGs into something else. I know they sell their RPGs as Assassin's Creed because it's their biggest franchise and it will sell. For example, if you just called a Ubisoft game Valhalla, it probably wouldn't have sold. Maybe if you say from the same creators as Assassin's Creed, it probably would have sold, but not as much numbers. Maybe have these games connected somehow, or, you know, call it like Origins of Assassins or something. I don't know. Just have them separated. I don't like how the RPGs are called Assassins when it's not really Assassins. They have had Assassins in Shadows. I know that. I did actually like that little bit of element to it. There wasn't too much of it, but you know, there was some there. Because I remember when Assassin's Creed Origins actually came out, and I was like, okay, this is actually showing how the Assassin's Order actually started up. This is pretty cool. And then we went to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and there was no Assassins existent in that game. I actually really like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I actually like Assassin's Creed Odyssey more than I do Origins, but it's nothing to do with Assassins. That should have just been called, like, I don't know, Mr. Greek. I don't know. But personally, I don't think we've had a proper Assassin's Creed game since Unity or Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and it's quite disappointing, and I really hope with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake being announced like a few days ago, that they don't go too much into the RPG elements, because me personally, stick to the roots, just expand on it a little. Let me know what you think in the comments down below though.